Nigeria is often called the giant of Africa. But how can a giant move forward when its legs are pulling in different directions? In every corner of this country, tribal identity runs deep. It's in the way politicians ask for your vote. It's in the way families react when you bring home someone from another tribe. And sometimes it's even in who gets a job or a contract. We have survived civil wars, military dictatorships, economic crashes. But ask any Nigerian on the street, and they'll tell you one of our biggest obstacles is not just corruption, not just insecurity, not just poverty, but tribalism. Today, I want us to confront this question head on. Is tribalism Nigeria's biggest problem, or have we been tricked into thinking that it is? Now, while the real enemies of progress hide in our plain sight. Now, today on J On Air, you're about to hear the voices of everyday Nigerians in our Vox Pops. And of course, your own voice matters. I want you to call in, I want you to text, I want you to tweet. Let us have this conversation. Because if tribalism is truly our biggest problem, then Nigeria is in trouble. But if it isn't, then maybe, just maybe, it is time to stop letting it divide us while other problems crush us all the same. Welcome to J On Air. Let's have this conversation. All right, welcome once again to J On Air. Today we're asking the big question, is tribalism Nigeria's biggest problem? We are going to be hearing from a number of Nigerians on the streets of Lagos today, like I said earlier on. But I want to give some pretty interesting facts on the show. Now, Nigeria has 250 ethnic groups, yet our politics is still dominated by just 3. Now, imagine a house where 247 children feel like outsiders. When we think politics in Nigeria, we think Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and it doesn't pass those 3 tribes. But we forget that we have over 250 ethnic tribes in this country that we call Nigeria. Another important thing you should know is that in 2022, a survey showed that more than 60% of Nigerian parents would prefer their children marry from the same tribe. Love isn't always enough. Tribalism still sits at the wedding table. So you're a Yoruba lady, you go outside, you find an Igbo guy you're interested in, you're in love with, you bring this guy home and your parents say, no, we're not interested. Not because the guy isn't well-to-do, not because he doesn't have good morals, but because he's from a tribe different from yours. Now, this just seems like a small family matter, but it now entails, or it now affects everything that we do. A lot of people are not willing to go into business with people from different tribes. A lot of people are not willing to give jobs to people from a tribe that is different from theirs. And a lot of people are not willing to vote for certain people because they are not from the same tribe as theirs. Think back to the last election. One of the things that was used in Nigeria, in Lagos especially, is tribe, if we're being honest. You know, some tribes were asked to leave Lagos if they didn't vote for certain tribes. Some tribes were told that, you know, their voices were not important here in Lagos. In fact, if you looked in quotes like a certain type of tribe, they would tell you that, you know, you are from these people, you are part of these people. In fact, a particular politician here in Lagos, you know, was told that he's not full-fledged a Yoruba person because his mom is not Yoruba. You know, these are conversations that seem like they are small, but if you think about it, they are pretty big conversations. And that is what we're going to be talking today about on the show. So we just want to hear what a few people said on the streets of Lagos. Please pay attention to this.
Different tribes, one flag, one nation, but are we truly united? Today we're live on the streets of Lagos to ask people if tribalism is Nigeria's biggest problem. Stay tuned.
Once in marriage, Igbo can marry Yoruba. Yoruba can marry Hausa. Everybody can marry. It is our government, the way they are ruling us. That is the problem we have. Those elites, that's the problem that we have in Nigeria, because they want everything to be on their own path. As once Igbo can marry Yoruba, Yoruba can marry Igbo. Why can't you? Because we are from different tribes, and we are getting to marry. That is to tell you, say, people are loving themselves. But the way government are ruling.
Is tribalism a major problem in Nigeria today? What do you think, sir?
Yeah, what I think is yes, because we can see what is happening in Jos, Benue, and some parts of Nigeria. If you are current, you'll be able to identify the issue of tribalism. And currently in Lagos, we are also facing all this Igbo and Yoruba saga. So I think tribalism is absolutely one of the major problems in Nigeria. Yeah, that's for my own take.
Do you think there's any way we can actually solve this issue?
Well, to me, there is a way. In any problem, we have a way. It's just to have strong men who will come out, especially our leaders, our kingsmen, and the emirs, to come out and speak to their people. It's not about individual or tribe. It's about the Nigeria. We want Nigerian to work. If you want your country to work, you have to do what will make it work. So I think for them coming together as one, then we can be able to go a long way. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. Thank you very much.
It's part of the problem, but I won't say it's the biggest problem. I think the economy is the biggest problem, but tribalism is part of the problem.
Oh, okay.
The solution is one love.
Solution one love.
Yes, one Nigeria now, one Nigeria. You don't need to be, okay, I'm Hausa, I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, just one love. To me, if you ask me.
To me, the way I know it ever since, I think our major problem in Nigeria is, I think, it's always our politicians. They're not thinking good about us. They don't even send us. Everyone in Nigeria, everybody tries to make life. And see, nowadays, everything has become so much expensive. Salary work. Who wants to do salary work? Everybody wants to go into business. So I don't think we love ourselves. We love ourselves. Both Igbos, Yorubas.
First of all, I think if Nigerians were really unified, we should have one language to speak, even if it's just pidgin or something. But everywhere you go, they're in the middle belt, they're speaking different language in the north, in the east, and that it brings a divide. People are not able to agree, and I think once Nigerians are able to unite and agree on a cause, I think we're able to make change. And until then, no change. So that's why I believe tribalism is one of the biggest problems in Nigeria.
Oh. Name, please.
My name is Avi.
Okay, nice to meet you, sir. So, do you think tribalism is Nigeria's biggest problem?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, why do you think so, sir?
Yeah, I feel that there is no unity between us. If you go to outside country, they speak one language. If you go to UK, now they speak one language. But in Nigeria, we have different languages. So that has diversify all of us. So I think that is more reason why that tribalism exists more in Nigeria. If you and I now in abroad, you will see that we speak as one. But if we are in our country, we deviate. There is no love between us. So I think that is more reason why tribalism exists more in Nigeria.
Name?
My name is Yose.
Yose, nice to meet you. Do you think tribalism is Nigeria's biggest problem?
Yes,
Oh, why do you think so?
because there's conflict here and there.
So I want to play one more soundbite from somebody that did not want to give out their name, but had a lot to say about tribalism being an issue here in Nigeria. Please pay attention to this as well.
So, is tribalism Nigeria's biggest problem? What do you think?
Yes, for some tribes specifically, especially the Yoruba tribe. For the Yoruba tribe, they carry that tribalism for head. Now the problem where I get with Yoruba people is that, Yoruba man no fit dey with Igbo man. He get one particular name where they call them Omo Igbo. You get what I'm saying? When they call them Omo Igbo, it already shows that these people are tribalistic. If they are with Hausa people, they don't mix with other people. They are always concerned about themselves. They are very selfish. Let's put it that way.
All right, big thanks to Chisom Robinson, who went on the streets of Lagos with Intuiquidon to ask the people about, tribalism and what they think about tribalism in Nigeria and if it is really a big issue. When I asked this question on my social media yesterday, somebody said even more than tribalism, religion is a bigger issue, and that when discussing tribalism, we should also discuss religion. And somebody else was saying that, tribalism is an issue because our politicians weaponize it every single time election is around the corner, because they know that is something that is ingrained into the Nigerian system, this tribalism of a thing. And so they can use it to affect how people vote. And so I want to open the phone lines now to ask you, is tribalism Nigeria's biggest problem? You heard what the people on the streets of Lagos have said so far. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Where do you stand? And do you think that this is something that we can actually evolve from? Do you think that we can actually move on as a country if we don't solve the situation of tribalism? Before I even, talk about the numbers, I remember being in Rwanda, I think 2 years ago, and I remember going to a museum where they showed us a bit about the history of the country, and it was a pretty sad one. And it was also an issue of tribalism. That is why if you go to Rwanda now, everybody is from the same tribe. And to an extent, people say that Rwanda is a country that is moving forward. And a lot of people argue that Rwanda is a country moving forward because, again, it's a country that faced a lot of tribalism in the past and has resulted to saying, everybody is now from the same tribe, and that is why it is moving forward. Now, the arguments against, the arguments for, but this is something that we should all definitely think about. And I want to read out more statistics, all right, when it comes to politics and division and, of course, tribalism. Now, during every election, Nigeria almost feels like three countries competing, not one nation voting. Our leaders have perfected the art of turning tribal identity into political weapons. This happens every single time. Think back to every single time there's an election, and somehow tribalism becomes a topic of conversation. We don't focus on the major issues. We focus on issues that are not necessarily important. Welcome to Journey. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Isaac from Aja.
All right, Isaac from Aja. Good to have you on the show. You sound like you're just waking up. Are you just waking up?
Yeah, I'm just woke up.
All right, good to have you on the show. Do you think tribalism is a major issue here in Nigeria?
Sure. Tribalism is one that is causing problems for this our country, sir. As you play this thing, I hear it. Sure, and we see they cause problem. You go see how some man treat people different, they treat Yoruba different. I thought these things that is causing problem for this our country.
All right, thank you, Isaac. Isaac is saying that, he believes that tribalism is a big issue, one of the major issues that we face here in Nigeria. We're still talking about tribalism, and if tribalism is Nigeria's biggest issue, I want to go over some of the stats that I gave before in case you're just joining the show. Studies have found that in Nigerian job recruitment, people unconsciously prefer candidates from their own ethnic groups. So sometimes it is not your CV that holds you back, it's your surname. I remember growing up, and I grew up with a mom that was a contractor, and a lot of the time she didn't get certain jobs because of her surname. In fact, her business name was just her name and maiden name. She had to start using my dad's name because my dad is from a different tribe, and that is what to an extent opened certain doors for her. And people did not give certain jobs to her because of the name that she carried. Now, this is not something that they told me. This is something that was experienced by a family member of mine. So tribalism is something that, we see day in, day out. We spoke about the issue of people not being able to marry into different tribes or into certain tribes just because. We've seen fathers and daughters get into fights. We've seen son and mothers get into fights because of the marriage conversation. When it gets to that time, why do you want to get married to this person? This person is not from the same tribe. In fact, when I asked this question on my social media, I got some pretty interesting responses. I'm going to read them out. Some people said even in the Yoruba tribe, for example, there are certain Yoruba people that will not want you to marry from certain Yoruba people. That if you are a Jebu, you cannot marry from somebody who is also from the same state but is not a Jebu. Maybe they are Igbira. You cannot marry from that certain tribe. And this is an issue that we need to talk about. I want to take some responses off social media when I ask the question. This person here said, "Now, so my papa Toko, he literally warned I and my sister not to marry a man that is not from Igala. Nobody told him to accept the Yoruba man where I bring come when I entered 33 years in his house. Baba quickly collect him. I still tease him till today." This person said, "This same thing happened to me. My mom rejected my Yoruba boyfriend, so we broke up. As I write this, I am single. I'm patiently waiting for the right man. I am Igbo, by the way." So the major question that I want to ask, and I really hope people can call in, especially people who are students of Nigerian history, where did this entire tribalism come from? Where did it start from? And why are we where we are? And is this something that we can move past? We know that there are constantly conversations about, we want to have this particular country outside of Nigeria. We want to have this particular country outside of Nigeria. And some people argue that may be the only way, to get Nigeria to become a workable situation, where if people go their own ways, if the Igbos go their ways, and there are people that have that argument, I don't necessarily agree with that, but these are strong arguments people have, that we were brought together not of our own will. We're brought together by the colonizers, not because we want us to be brought together, and that is why it is difficult for us, to work together as one. I mean, we have, like I said, over 250 ethnic groups in Nigeria, which also means that we have different languages. In fact, if you think about the Igbo people alone, people think that all Igbos speak the same kind of Igbo, but that is not true. Within the Igbo side, we still have a lot of different, dialects there. And there are certain people that speak totally different things. In Yoruba, it's the same. You hear somebody from Ondo, from Akure, they speak differently from somebody that is from Ibadan, And so that is how different we are. But we are now together. We are now one country. And we're a country that is always back and forth when it comes to leadership and when it comes to politics. So again, is tribalism Nigeria's biggest issue? How did this issue start? And how can we solve the issue of tribalism? Or should we move on? Should we focus on bigger issues? Because if we say, let's focus on bigger issues, somebody was saying that, yes, tribalism definitely is an issue. We should focus on bigger issues. But the issue there is when it becomes time for politics, it is weaponized every single time. If you were in Lagos, you saw how tribalism was seriously weaponized here in Lagos. It was a major issue. I remember going to vote, and they said, it'd be like, say, they come for this kind of tribe. I know the person where you won't vote for. This is not a them say situation. This is something that a lot of us saw and experienced in the last election. I'm going to read this one. This one says, good evening, Jane. Happy New Month. Yes, tribalism is a big worry in Nigeria today. David from Ikpe to Ijesha. All right, this one here says, major issue in Nigeria is injustice. Tribalism is also there, but not through marriage, but in terms of collaboration. So I'm struggling to get what you're saying. So this person is basically saying injustice is our biggest issue, not necessarily tribalism. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Paul. Good evening.
All right, Paul. Good to have you on the show. Where are you calling from this evening?
I'm calling from Ejibo.
All right, talk to me, Paul. Have you been following the conversation?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, please.
Tribalism is one of the major problems we have. Even if we have every qualified person we know from our own region or tribe, and if that person happens to be our presidential candidate, let me use that concept, nobody, because you don't know him or the person is not from your tribe, the people that are majority will tell you, look, we are not going to vote for you because you are not from our tribe. Therefore, no matter your qualification, no matter your experience, no matter your technicalities, no matter how you know how to do it, they will frustrate your effort in order for you not to do that thing. But if we really put our hearts together as Nigeria and present any person from anywhere, provided he did what we want him to do, you discover that this issue of today, this one is not from our tribe, it will reduce. Let's go back to 2011, when the whole Nigeria was clamoring for fresh bread. When we get to 2015, the narrative changed. These politicians have a tools, whether you are doing it well, but because you are not from our own tribe, we can never be satisfied with what you are doing. And it's still affecting the same people that designed the weapon. Now, some of them are there, they are in the position, but nobody is satisfied about what they are doing, whether they are doing it right or they are doing it wrong. Everybody is dissatisfied because it's not from our tribe. So tribalism is one of the major problems we are facing. If you are a head of a church, for instance, you are a head of a department, you are a headmaster, you are a headmistress, you are not from my tribe and you happen to stay in my area, I will want to fight you to a standstill until I see somebody from my tribe that is heading that department. And it's not supposed to be so. If we say we are fighting for justice or we are fighting for oneness, no matter the person that is there, let us support. Let us let the person exhaust all his idea. Let the person exhaust all his idea or his weapon before we can say no. But now, once you bring any idea, in as much as you are not from the majority or you are not from a particular tribe that they want it to be there, everybody will say, no, everything you are doing is just stupid. It has even gone to our local government or our state governors. whoever you project, whatever the person is doing, and they're so much demonized. Let me use that language. Sorry, this is they so much demonize this thing that if somebody from the north do something and somebody from the south now comes in, they will tell the person what that person from the north did, condemn them. Don't work with those ones. Government or society cannot develop if we are starting from the ground every day. You did your own to a point. Maybe you focus on electricity. And I came. I said, no, because the man that did electricity is from the north. I will condemn everything. I will condemn all his effort. I will condemn all his contract. I will condemn everything. Then I will start my own again. Tomorrow, another person from the west will come and say, I focus on water. So water is not our problem. So we must condemn the one that if we continue, okay, light. After 4 years, somebody through with light. Then the other one continue with light. Maybe take 20% of another project, continue on that one. Another one came, continue on light, 10%, continue on this one, 10%, start his own, 30%. You discover that by the time we get to a point, we will not discover that some of this problem, at least 70 or 80% of them has been solved. But now, no.
All right.
Once you are not on my track, condemn whatever the other one did.
All right, thank you so much, sir. All right, thank you. All right, amen. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Very passionate, take on this conversation on tribalism. We're still on Journey. We're having the conversation about tribalism. Is tribalism Nigeria's biggest problem, Nigeria's biggest issue? And we're here from our last caller. Let's hear from this person now. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Imabong. I'm calling you from Ikorodu.
Imabong from Ikorodu. Good to have you on the show. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I like the topic. In fact, tribalism is the real cause. It's the problem of this country. Because there are some certain area that we could have done better. Even you talk of school now, there are some schools that will not take students. No matter the score, no matter what you get in your score, they will not take you. There are some certain courses. Like it happened to me, one of my daughter. He meet up all the qualifications to study medicine. Even you now saw even other people that got low score because it's from that. Those people are from that same state. I don't want to mention the state. So these are the things. At the end of it all, we will end up even the doctors, other profession will not have good people, qualified people that are good in doing that. There are some people that are inborn. I don't know if we can change this thing. It will be good. The earlier, the better. And if we continue like this, there will be no progress in this country. Because that name that they always call us, even people we that are coming from east, no matter anything, they say we are Moibu. It is very, very bad. Very, very bad. Sometimes you will feel down. Anything that you do, and then they will say that you are doing this thing. You are talking because you are Moibu. You don't have respect. So it's bringing the whole country. And we are when we go out, we say we are Nigerians. You change this thing. I like your topic.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling and for sharing that personal story. I mean, while calling and speaking passionately, talking about how our daughter, got the cutoff mark to get into a particular university, but because she was not an indigene, because her daughter is not from that tribe, she was not able, to get admission to study medicine. And she's saying that her daughter is quite talented, quite intelligent, and that is how we're losing out on a lot of smart people because of the case of tribalism. Another thing I want to highlight is in the case of the living situation here in Nigeria. A lot of people that I know are not able to get housing because, you are not Yoruba, you cannot live here. You are not Igbo, you cannot live here. You are Hausa, you cannot live here. There are certain, tribes that cannot live in certain areas because, they don't speak the language or they are not from certain, from certain tribes. And a lot of people have to lie, that, oh, I'm Igbo, but my husband is Yoruba. Oh, I'm Yoruba, but my wife is Igbo, just because they want to leave. So you cannot even live in certain parts of the country. You cannot get housing, real estate in certain areas. You have the money, you can afford to pay, but they're saying that I'm not willing to take it. I also remember when I was looking for a house, and the agent just said, Chebi, you say you're Yoruba now and you shouldn't have an issue. You shouldn't have an issue. And I'm like, why should that be an issue? Oh, this particular house, this particular landlord is not taking a non-Yoruba person to live in this house. What is the reason? What is the reason behind that thinking? If this person can afford to pay, why are you not allowing them to pay and live in that place. And we keep on, like she said, keep on saying that we are one Nigeria, we're Nigerians. And the way we act. And this is why it is easy for political leaders to weaponize it. A lot of people say that this may not be a big issue. But the reason people can weaponize it is because there truly is tribalism. I think the first thing we need to realize, we need to accept, is that this is a deeply tribalistic country. Once we accept that, we can actually start solving the problem that we have. We have this message right here. This one says, "Hi Jay." Oh, this is a long one. Good evening from here. For me, tribalism is at the core problem of Nigeria's problem, political, religiously, even in our society. But unfortunately, politicians have weaponized this against us. Let me take you back to 2011 when Goodluck was president. Other tribes blamed him, even though he was doing much better than his recent president. Buhari came in 2015. The Northerners supported him, even though everything was going wrong. And now 2025, Tinubu from the West. We all saw how the election played out. I believe the majority of Nigerians need to wake up. Nelson from Richmond. The question I keep asking myself is, what then is the issue? Because you go on social media, Twitter or X, like you like to call it, you know that's why there's a lot of political discourse. Why don't you think that this man, you think he's a good candidate, you think he's smart, but just because he's not from your tribe, you don't think that he should be the president? Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Thomas. I'm calling from Ikoyi. I'm actually in traffic right now.
Oh, Thomas from Ikoyi in traffic. Welcome to J on Air. Join the conversation, please.
Yeah, I really enjoy your topic for today.
Thank you so much.
I just want to chip in one or two things. And from my own experience, I can say that the Bible says when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? There are so many fundamental structures that Nigeria needs to bring down for us to overcome this issue of tribalism, nepotism, and all kind of nism in our country. For instance, what is state of origin still doing in our forms? What is state of origin and religion still doing in our forms? Those are some of the things that we need to pull down. Because one of my sons was sharing an experience that he went to do a presentation in one of the government agencies, and the person that is heading ICT department knew nothing about ICT, but because that particular tribe was in government, he was there. He was there. He could not even understand all the presentation they were making. They have to begin to go and look for a consultant to interpret to him before they can understand. And I remember from, let me not quote the source, when Buhari was in government, if you don't present information to him in a particular tribe, he will not understand it. So there are so many fundamental issues in Nigeria that we need to pull off so that we can move forward from this tribal sentiment. And the last point I want to make is that they said there is unity in diversity. We have refused to accept and understand our individuality and the differences in the cultural setting of Nigeria. We need to really accept that we are different people for us to move forward. We keep patching up. Patching up, we are the same. It is patch up. We need to bring that individuality. You see, they call federal character. It's not working. It's not working at all. For instance, in a government agency, a particular government agency that we don't mention the name, they have a particular tribe all over the country at the ends of affair. A particular tribe at the ends of affair in all over the country. All over the country. They have state offices, they have federal offices. The same tribe dominates the ends of affair. So all these things need to be balanced. I can't have a Ministry of Works in Lagos State, and you are telling me that another particular tribe is heading it. The same tribe is heading in Abuja, the same tribe in Kaduna, the same tribe in Sokoto, in River States. There need to be a balance. We need to understand that individuality and make use of the strength in diversity. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for calling the show. Something that he raised that I want to ask the people, he's saying that he doesn't think we should still have state of origin and, religion in our forms. When you go to certain agencies, I mean, there's nothing you want to do here that they will not ask you what state you're from and, what religion you are. And he's saying that he doesn't think that should be in our forms. Do you agree with that sentiment? And, he definitely raised a lot of, valid points, that there's definitely unity in diversity, but we don't see that work out. One thing that baffles me a lot is that if we think about it, there are certain things that are peculiar to Igbo people. There are certain things peculiar to Yoruba people, Hausa people, people from Tiv, people from Edo State. There are certain things that, imagine if we bring our different strengths together, how better off we would be as a country. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Jay. Good evening. My name is Felicity, calling from Lagos.
Felicity, good to have you on Jay on Air. Join the conversation, please.
Hi, Jay. Okay. For me, my eyes don't see you. I've seen from a certain tribe. I live in Lagos, but I'm not from Lagos.
Okay.
And you see that tribalism. We cry of racism all the time, right? But what we do to ourselves is far worse than racism that we face from other countries. Yeah, so be sincere, okay. Tribalism is one of our major problems. So we don't see the human, we see where, yes, and that is the problem. So if we can bypass that and treat everybody as a human, so see the human first before where the person is from, I think we'll conquer like 80% of our problem. Because it's when we are united, that is when we start having one mind and one goal and start fighting for how to make our lives better.
All right.
So,
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that she's tired from work, but you could feel the hurt in her voice, you know, or maybe she's just tired and I'm just overthinking the tone of her voice, saying that her eyes don't see, you know, that she's in Lagos here. She's not Lagosian, she's not Yoruba, but she has faced a lot living here in Lagos, things that she has been through, things that she has passed through. And this is not an isolated conversation. We have a lot of people who say living in Lagos is not easy. A lot of people say living in this state is not easy, that people go through things every single time. I want to take us back, you know, let us remember in the 1960s where we had our civil war. This was also fueled by tribalism. We come to Jos, we see things that have happened in Jos and things that are still happening. And again, lots of these things are fueled by tribalism. We still see ethnic clashes here in Lagos across, that cost people their lives. People are dying also because of where they are from. So we cannot just say tribalism is a small problem. It definitely is a big problem. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lagos.
The way you said, is everything?
Okay. Everything is fine, but I'm having headache.
Sorry. What's your name? Where are you calling from first?
Okay, my name is Esther. I'm calling from Lagos State.
All right, go ahead, Esther. Talk to me.
When it comes to tribalism, that is the main problem in Nigeria. Because I remember when I moved to Lagos State, the first shop I was looking for, they were asking me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Delta State. They told me, Delta State. Okay, we don't have any vacant shop. I said, but the agent man brought me to this place. Why are you telling me that the shop is not vacant? I said, what is going on? The agent took me to another shop. The same thing. They were at the first thing, after greeting, the first thing was, where are you from? I said, I'm not Yoruba. Oh, no problem. You can go. We'll get back to you. So I was searching for shop almost 6 months. In Lagos.
And you had the money to pay.
Yes, I have the money to pay. My husband was telling me, what is going on? I have the money to pay. Even I told them I will add to what they have put the shop. He said, no, it's not about the money. I don't want somebody that will be speaking Igbo, somebody that cannot. I said, that is not the problem. I am respectful. I don't have problem with respecting people because my grandma trained me well. So that is not a problem. They said, no. That was how I looked for shop like 6 months before I finally got one. And the one I got, after like a year, problem came up. Relating to tribalism and all that. So that story is for another day. Then my friend started looking for accommodation. They told her the same thing. As I'm talking to you now, they have given her quit notice because she lied that she's from Yoruba, but she cannot speak Yoruba. She was looking for house for 1 year. She did not see. But she has to lie. When she told them that I'm from Yoruba and the landlord confirmed that she cannot speak Yoruba, how can you tell me that you are from this place and you cannot speak your language? That is how they gave her another quit notice. She's looking for house now, and she's telling me that she will move to her state of origin since here is not favorable to her. So this tribalism is the main problem in Nigeria, and we refuse to tackle it. We are the problem of ourselves. We refuse to tackle it, and since we refuse to tackle it, the problem will still be there. The problem will still be there. We refuse to change the fact that if we don't love ourselves, how will other people in other countries, like the lady said, racism? We are crying that they don't like us outside Nigeria. But what about we that are living within? We don't like ourselves. If you want to buy something in the supermarket, the way they will talk to you. If you are looking for a job, the way they will treat you. Even if you have the qualifications, even if you have all it takes to get that job, they will not give it to you because you are not from there. I don't know why I'm sounding this way, but it's the major problem. Yeah, Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, for calling and for sharing your thoughts on this. You could also hear pain. So tribalism is costing people their lives, and, costing people their daily bread, costing people houses that they should be able to live in. This is what is happening. We have more calls to take. The lines are going up, but I want to read this message. Hi, Jay. Good evening. How are you doing? I will tell you all the tribes are guilty of this tribalism, and it is not even the biggest problem in this country. How will you say tribalism is the biggest problem when the same tribesmen are doing evil to themselves? Even tribesmen go against each other just because of politics, greed, and some other things. Tribalism is just one of the problems, and no single tribe can even play the victim here. Some Yoruba people will call Igbos Omo Igbo to make them feel some kind of way, while some Igbo people too will call Yoruba people Yariba. I don't even know what that means. Same as Hausa. Every tribesman is guilty of this. Plus, when asking about this, that last person Chisom interviewed is an example of a tribal person. That is why I can't even mention his name. All these people were not born with this mindset. It all started one day, but generalizing one tribe as being selfish and all that is not making sense at all. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. Good evening, Jay. My name is Bayo.
All right. Good to have you on the show. Go ahead, please.
Okay. It's a very nice topic. And yes, because your question has actually been, I think, sorry, it's not been consistent. Sometimes you say, is it the biggest? Sometimes is it a major problem? Sometimes you say, it's the biggest.
So, major.
Okay, yeah. So I want to say tribalism is one of the major issues that we have in Nigeria, actually. Okay. But I don't know if it is the biggest. We have quite a few problems or challenges in Nigeria. So I can't say is the biggest, but I can say is one of the major issues, and it has really affected us a big deal. And it's good that we are waking up to it now. It's good that we are seeing it, and everybody's getting to see that this is not going to take us anywhere, and it's actually not going to take us anywhere. And the earlier we start solving the problems, the better for us. But what I will say is this. Like the last comment you read, you see, it's not peculiar to any set of people, any particular tribe in Nigeria, and that is what we should understand. We should work on our mindset. You see, we should work on our mindset. What makes people behave the way they behave, sometimes or most times, is the experiences they've had. The experiences they've had in relating with people. Like I have lived in Southeast. At least I've lived comfortably. Let me say between 6 months to 1 year in the Southeast. I have lived in Port Harcourt. I am from Lagos. I've lived in Lagos for a very long period of time, and I have been able to experience different tribes. I've been able to see people, and you know what? Because of my personality and character, I was able to relate to a lot of people. I have friends all over. I still have friends while I was serving that were from the north. Until today, we still talk, and it's been like that for me. But you see, when people are formed by the experiences that they've had. And when you say, because when I listen to the interviews, I listen to a lot of people that are talking, and I know people are biased a bit. I know people are biased. To be very sincere, I'm not going to hide my identity. I'm a Yoruba person. But I have related with a lot of people. And I've seen people trying to say what is not. People trying to say what is not. But if you look at it, if you actually dissect it very well, one of those interviews that was done, the last one that he said, he's not going to mention his name, that's the height of tribalism. He went ahead to mention tribes. But the thing is that we should have a mentality change. We should know that this thing is not going to take us anywhere, and everybody should be ready to submit that card of tribalism and lay it down and let us do something to make this country move forward. You see, if you are not ready to sacrifice, if you are not ready to do that, I have series of stories and scenarios I can relate here. But I'm not going to be doing that because it's going to be causing more division. Some people are going to be saying, oh, this is... No. But we should be ready to lay it down. Let us see everybody. This guy is my brother, irrespective of where he is from, irrespective of where he's coming from. This guy is my brother. This guy is my sister. I've lived in the Southeast. I know what I faced. I've lived in Port Harcourt. I know what I faced. I can't begin to iterate everything that I face. But we all should understand that, you see, this is Nigeria, and we have to make this country move forward. And what are those things we have to do? We have to drop that card of tribalism. This guy, irrespective of his name, it could be Uchenna, it could be Mohammed, it could be Dekule. This guy is my brother. Drop that tribalism. The best guy for a position should be taken. Yes, we are living in the same apartment. There's a block of 6 flats. This guy is from the north, this guy is from the east, this guy is from the west, this guy is from the south. We should be able to relate with each other very well. We should be able to do that. These things are not hard. All Christians will come together when it comes to Bible. When it comes to fight against Muslims or Hinduism or Buddhism, you see all the Christians coming together. So why can't we do that? We are all Nigerians. Why can't we stand together with ourselves? Why should we be talking about this at 2025? It's not going to take us anywhere, really. It's not going to take us anywhere. We all work in different offices. We relate with our colleagues that are not from our tribes. So why is it hard?
All right, we have to end this call here. We have to wrap up the show. But thank you so much for your thoughts on this. Thank you very much. Thank you for speaking so passionately. We have to wrap this up. I wish we could go on. I mean, we have more phone calls and text messages, but we have to wrap this up with J Steak. And maybe we'll have maybe part 2 of this conversation because I feel like people have more to say. What I'm going to say to wrap this up is tribalism may not be our biggest problem, but it definitely is a major issue we're facing here in Nigeria. And if we don't drop the tribalism card, we'll keep on going in cycles year in, year out. You see that our politicians have realized that, the average Nigerian deals with a level of tribalism. And so they know that they can weaponize it against us. You are Yoruba, why would you vote for an Igbo man? You are Hausa, why would you vote for a Yoruba man? You are from Edo State, why would you vote for somebody that is from Adamawa State? And this will keep on happening and happening. And the people that have the qualifications, people that have the right mindset, people that know how to do the job, no matter their tribe, will not be able to get into certain offices to do the job that they need to do just because, that person is not from the tribe that is palatable to you. You need to have a mindset shift. This is not something that I can teach you. This is something that you need to teach yourself. And more than that, if you have children, you need to start teaching your children. A lot of us were taught by parents to be tribalistic to certain tribes. That is just the truth. And if we want to end how things are in Nigeria, it is one of the major issues that we have to face, or else there is no going forward. 2027, we have another election. This tribalism, for some people, it's just a case of I don't have a house to live in, or I don't have a job they're not accessing because of my tribe, or this or that. But when it comes 2027, I can already assure you, our politicians already know what to do. If we tell them that I am not going to be against my brother, no matter their tribe, that we already know that that is not a card that they should play. The question is, are you going to deal with your tribalism before the next election cycle? All right, big thanks to our sponsors, Credit Direct, for bringing us another fantastic episode. If you're looking to grow money, looking to invest money, looking to get loans, Credit Direct is the way to go. It's a subsidiary of FCMB, and it's an app that I use myself, and I know that, best believe, it is really good. So go on Google Play, go on apps on your Apple Store, download the Credit Direct app today. I'll be back on Wednesday. I have very special guests joining me on the show. You don't want to miss out on another episode of J on Air.